Hey guys, and welcome to another Sanctuary Onslaught video, because DE released Hotfix 22.18.7, which introduced quite a few changes to both versions of the Sanctuary Onslaught. Now the TLDR here is, they made it harder, quite a bit harder actually, and they also reset the Elite zone setup, so we once again have a complete different set of zones in the Elite version of the Sanctuary Onslaught. So what did they change? Well, enemy scaling, they are now much tougher in Sanctuary Onslaught, because turns out, yeah, they were far squishier than their regular counterparts, as you can see in the comparison over here, where a level 81 charger in the Simulacrum had 7760 health, but the same enemy in the Sanctuary only had 1792 health. Now this isn't too noticeable when it comes to the Infested and even the Corpus, but it is really damn noticeable with the Grenier and high tier Corrupted. They're hell of a lot beefier now, to a point where I actually had to drop my Guandao and go full meme with the Atarax, because I could not get past zone 7 with my Guandao. It was just not doing enough damage. Though I'm pretty sure this is partially due to the zone layout, because it's pretty harsh. The final stretch is really difficult. Zone 5 is Grenier on the Moon, Zone 6 is Grenier in the Kuva Fortress, and Zone 7 is the full Corrupted roster in Vor's boss room. Next change is that the efficiency drain should ramp up more aggressively between zones 10 and 20 in either Onslaught mode, and I don't know if it's just the zone layout or enemies being beefier or enemy spawning, but it feels a lot harsher overall from the very start, not just going from zone 10 to 20. Though with as many changes as they did, including the zone progression layout, I'm actually not sure. It may very well be that this rotation is just really hard. They also completely removed the efficiency stimulus pickups from zone 16 and onwards. Now on top of all of that, some Onslaught tiles now have a 20% chance to spawn an environmental hazard, though this is once again fixed for the Elite version, as can be seen in zone 3, where you will encounter magnetic clouds. Then they decided to straight up just remove a lot of the tiles that were causing AI issues, which is good, because there were some tiles where the AI just had no idea what to do and they would get stuck all the time. And they also decided to remove some subsections of the enemy factions, so we shouldn't run into issues like we did yesterday with Zone 1, where we just had Grenier miners in the derelict. It would spawn like 5 of them, most of them would be unalerted and they wouldn't even fight you. Then they increased the specimen spawn rate in the Corpus Gas City tile and the Grenier Fortress tile, which is good as well, and they fixed a bunch of bugs and crashes in party play, so it should now be more stable. Now they also decided to completely remove Korra parts from the Elite Onslaught drop table, replace them with Radiant Axie relics, and then shuffle the relics around so that they fit. And I think this is a good change. I don't think it made an awful lot of sense to have her in both a normal and Elite Onslaught, especially since the parts had much higher chance to drop in normal. And finally, they also changed the enemy level scaling in Elite Onslaught so that they scale more gradually. So instead of starting off at around level 90 in Zone 1 and peaking somewhere between 150 and 180 in Zone 10, they will now start off at somewhere between 60 and 70 in Zone 1, and they will still peak at 150 and 180, but in Zone 15 instead. And this is a pretty noticeable affinity nerf, which means that while it's still good for farming focus, it's not as good as it was before. This hotfix is an odd one. I was honestly not expecting them to make it harder than it was. And I feel kinda bad for people that like to run Elite solo and they don't have Maiming Strike, because while you can somewhat simulate Maiming Strike by just using Blood Rush, True Steel and Relentless combination, so you can build your combo counter much faster and actually get to red crit territory in a reasonable amount of time, I think it's going to be extremely difficult for solo players to finish Zone 8 without Meme Strike this time around. I honestly believe that it cannot be done, to a point where I'm willing to put up a challenge where the first person that sends me a video of them finishing Zone 8 without using Maiming Strike is gonna get 500 platinum, and the first person that sends me a video of them finishing Zone 8 while not having a melee weapon at all is gonna get 1000 platinum. Though that of course only applies to the current iteration of Elite Onslaught and the current set of zones. If they change something, the challenge is over. So if you manage to solo Zone 8 in the Elite version of Sanctuary Onslaught while not using Maiming Strike or not using a melee weapon at all, record it, upload that video to YouTube, and leave a link to that video in the comment section down below. Just don't forget to mention your in-game name somewhere, whether it be in the comment or in the description of that video, so I know who you are and I can give you the platinum. It would also be lovely if you could go over the setup you're using in that video so people know what they can use to get past Zone 8 if they don't have Meme Strike. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today, so I thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I wish you good luck with the challenge, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.